Good evening, my name is Garrett and welcome to The Last Call. Tonight's final drink is Maker's Mark, coming in at a 45% ABV, no age statement, versus Maker's Mark 101, coming in at a 50.5% ABV, no age statement. Now, I've done several different Maker's Mark reviews, and those will be linked up above and down below when they're live for you guys to enjoy, but I've never put the two up against each other to do an AB comparison. So we're going to be kind of just getting into that. I'm excited to see what that little bit of proof difference can do. And again, Maker's Mark was my first real love into bourbons. It really opened up a door to me to make me realize, wow, there's a lot of good things out here. And because prior to that, I did mostly scotches. But there was just something about Maker's Mark that was so simple and so great that I just fell in love with all their bottles so far. I need to pick up a new bottle for my actual collection for the biggies. I picked up a small version because at that time I wasn't sure if it was something I was going to love. So it was this kind of like, I'll just pick up a small one for now and we'll come back to that later if I don't like it or if I do. All right. Well, let's get into the notes. Oh, yeah. There's just something beautiful about Maker's Mark. It's one of those bottles that's so easily found, especially here in the United States, that I think a lot of people kind of brush it off or don't go back to it. But when you do, you get this beautiful, beautiful oak and this cherry note that is just pungent cherry. Like, it teeters cherry cough syrup. But it's got this beautiful spice in there as well. And the nice thing about these, and it's probably the reason why I like them, is because they have a higher wheat bill to them compared to a lot of other bourbons out there. Yeah, just a nice light baking spice in there. It's got this beautiful, almost nuttiness going on, and a little bit of ABV, but it's not offensive, and this cherry note that can just keep going on. Oh yeah, that's good. Let's check out the 101. And see, pitting the two next to each other, man, very similar. The big thing that turns out a little bit, it feels a little more of a mature smell now. The cherry's still there. The oak is still there. But now you're getting a little bit more just in depth on those. It's a little more older oak. It's a little more older, more subtle cherry. You're getting a little bit more of those spices. Those baking spices are coming up a little bit more. And it just is beautiful. Almost like grandma's kitchen spices. Yeah. It's a little sweet in there too. We're here. You're getting some of the sweetness, but it kind of still leans more into that cherry sweetness. Beautiful though. Yeah. This has just a little bit more of an aged character to it. Now, let's go for taste. First whiskey of the day. Hit up front with that nice, big, pungent oak. Rounded out by this nice, solid cherry. It's a little warm. You get that ABV just a little bit. But it has this beautiful sweetness to it from that wheat. So the ABV is showing up a little bit there right from the get-go. But then it kind of rounds back out to just a nice, solid oak, cherry, sweetness, that nuttiness. Almost like almost dessert-like. Just got that little bit of that sweetness, like a dessert quality to it. But it doesn't teeter too heavily into that sweet area. But it's just nice and simple. And even in the finish, it gives you this nice, simple cherry oak sweetness going on. That's not offensive. And it doesn't try to dance too far out of those lines, even in the finish. Okay. I really love the 101. So it's been probably a couple months since I've been back to it. taste. Coming off the heels of that, definitely the ABV is a little more apparent, but it doesn't last as long. So it's a little quicker jump, but then it pulls itself back. Deeper, richer cherry, deeper, richer oak. The spice is definitely lingering very, very well. The spice notes just keep riding and riding. And instead of lingering with that cherry oak sweetness that the original had, this has more of that spice oak cherry sweetness. That spice characteristic is really running home with it. Oh yeah. Even on sip 2, nice solid cherry, beautiful spices going on there. It's got that almost a bit of cinnamon going on, a little bit of that nutty quality goes into a nutmeg, a little sweetness, and almost like an apple rind, like the skin of an apple. So it's not really sweet, but it's just got that lingering sweetness, like the thought of being sweet, but still really good. All right, let's talk about market price, because market price is market price and it's always going to vary. I can pick up a standard sized bottle of Maker's Mark for about $25. Sometimes it can go as high as like 30s, and I've seen it go as low as like 22 for around my area. Where the Maker's Mark 101, it's kind of all over the place. I can pick it up for about $32 to $30, and I've seen it online go as high as $50s to $60 because it's limited edition. We don't know how much of this is out there, or if they're still making it, we're not really sure. It's still on their website, but it's still labeled limited edition. So I'm hoping they keep it around, because of the two, if I'm spending $25 on this or $32 on this, I'm going to pick this up for $32. It's got a little more character to it. It's a little older. It just feels a little more mature than the original. But if I'm looking for something maybe just simple and something maybe to introduce people to Maker's Mark with, the standard is really, really solid. And I think that's where both of these can coexist at the same time on the shelf, even if they are in similar pricing brackets. The Maker's Mark, it makes really good cherry cokes if you're looking for something like that, giving you that whiskey cherry coke idea going on here. Where this, I've never really mixed with it before, and I don't think I would personally. As always, it doesn't matter what you drink or how you drink it, as long as you enjoy it. But this feels like more of a neater experience. Maker's Mark 101 is supposed to go up against Wild Turkey 101, just to kind of give them that kind of run for their money in that proofing area. But again, I think for $25, the standard Maker's Mark is really solid. And for $32, I would probably pay up to almost $40 for this one. It would be really close. I'd probably pay no more than 35-ish, because once you go up higher, you're getting into the Maker's Mark cask strength. So, higher proof yet again. And just there's a lot more going on in there. But nonetheless, I think, again, both are pretty solid. So yeah, there you have it. Maker's Mark versus Maker's Mark 101. If you have any questions about either bottle, please let me know down in the comment section below. I will do my best to answer it. And if you have any specific spirits I should put up against each other, let me know down below. Doing these A/B comparisons is a lot of fun for me, and it gives me something a little bit different to do. And as always, may your last drink of the night be the best one.
I really like it might